Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video. And on Friday, Play Hearthstone did tweet out we should be expecting some updates on the balance situation in Hearthstone, where the quests, most of them are underperforming terribly. A lot of the new cards aren't working out. A lot of the old cards still rather overpowered. And I wanted to go over what I think will happen, what nerfs will happen, what buffs will happen. That's really almost impossible to predict, but we'll try. So yeah, we'll go over what I feel like or predict, or what I feel like should get changed. You guys can give your opinions in the comments down below. And if you enjoy the content on the channel, feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like because you'll want to stay tuned for when we get that announcement, which could be later today. I actually have no idea when they're going to announce it, but it should be, you would think, this week. So let's hop over to the HS Replay front page, where things have not gotten particularly better. Although at one point we had 6 classes 40% or lower. You see Warrior and Hunter have moved up. Paladin almost has lost its throne. That has been a trend of especially Quest Paladin losing prominence. It's still #1, but honestly, it probably wouldn't keep it unless that patch happens a little bit later. If we look at the meta itself at Legend, we see that Ballhog Demon Hunter yet again trending as one of the best decks out there by quite a large portion. At top 1000 Legend, it's right up there too, with Menagerie Demon Hunter and Paid Demon Hunter all being at the top. They're all aggro decks. They're all aggro decks. They get under Murloc Paladin, under low Druid, the 2 decks that are really warping the meta right now, and they beat them. So that's pretty effective. We also have Fishing Priest, Menagerie Demon Hunter, very aggressive decks. Basically, yeah, contesting the most popular decks out there in low Druid and Quest Paladin. So you have a lot of aggression and a bit of OTK as well with Bandage Priest. The only like control deck out there really is Starship Death Knight, still kind of hanging around. And again, a top 1000 Legend, you will see that Starship DK moves up a little bit because less people are playing stuff like Paladin, so there's a better chance to counter the aggression. And we still have like OTK with Bandage Priest. And I will note Cycle Rogue is really up there at like top 100 Legend. Really a scary archetype that continues to be really good and very single player. So we'll go into what I think will likely get hit, but honestly, I think pretty much every one of these decks has a pretty good shot of being nerfed. And pretty much all the decks, the quest decks down here, we'll go down to like Diamond through Legend, where people actually try a bit more, like Quest Mage, Quest DK, Quest Warrior. You'll even see like people have given up on Quest Priest and Quest Rogue. They have to go to Diamond through Legend to see them at like 22%, 30%. They're going to get buffed. Whether it's the quest or the support cards, something will get buffed in those decks. So let's take a look at what I think will make the changes. So let's start with the most obvious things that will get changed. Dive the Galactica Depths. It is a public enemy #1 for most Hearthstone players outside of high-ranked players who just don't care. Play aggro, play the solitaire deck to beat it. Who cares? It sucks. Lol. Let's make fun of people that lose it that want to play fun decks. Screw those people, right? Well, the Hearthstone design team, balance team, doesn't think that way and will likely either nerf this card, although as you've seen, the numbers are not insane on it, right? They could nerf other cards in the package. They could absolutely do that instead. I don't think it's an absolute home run that they just nerf the quest. If you're looking at other Murlocs, Hot Spring Glider is insane, right? 3 mana 2/4, which is almost premium stats. You get 2 less on your next Murloc, plus the Divine Shield if it's Kindred, which most of the times it is. You can make this card more expensive, cheat less mana, take some stats off of it. The other card you're looking at, Tyrannogil, really stands out. Maybe it could summon 1 less Murloc, could be 1 more mana, right? Those are 2 cards that you can look at for this deck. Another card I hear a lot of people talk about, which has never been an issue, but all of a sudden we got good Murlocs and the card draw is absolutely insane, is Brain Gill, right? This basically giving every Murloc, including itself, draw a card. Maybe you make this more expensive. So they have a lot of options. If I had to guess, I would say this goes back to where it was before the expansion apparently released at summon 6 Murlocs. You could give it the Infestor treatment of just plus attack instead of health, we'll see, but I basically assure you that this deck will get nerfed in some way. I'm just not entirely convinced that it will be the quest that will get the hit, but you never know. Other card that will absolutely, this is like 100% to get nerfed, is Lo the Living Legend. It's enabling Lo Druid, right? What else are you doing, right? It makes your minions cost 5 for the rest of the game, or if it's like Ceaseless, it's 0 mana, a giant, likely 0 mana. A very simple fix would be your minions cost 5 this game, but not less than 5, right? You just make them cost 5. But if we've learned anything from Murmur or Dungar, it will go to 8 mana, and maybe that'll be enough, maybe it won't, but it overall will leave an unnecessary risk out there. But yeah, my guess, it goes to 8 and probably continues to be a problem because we just see that. And well, let's go into some other less obvious cards, I guess. Menagerie Jug was buffed this year when they put it back into the core set, or was it ever in the core set? I don't know. This whole stupid Caverns of Time card. Caverns of Time ruins everything, but yeah, went to +2/+2 to +3/+3, and you see it just pop up, be really dominant in these aggro decks where if you don't clear their board on turn 4, they might have +9 damage coming down. And I don't think they want the meta entirely dictated by a neutral common free card, right? Like, it's just been too much that I would expect them just to, yeah, revert yet another buff. And why I like to say buffs are typically not the best thing in the world, but sometimes they're necessary, and I do think this expansion will definitely be necessary. But yeah, Menagerie Jug is a card I would absolutely look out for as a possible hit. Another one, I have mentioned this a lot, Arcanite Defense Crystal, the starship piece that gives you armor. It allows too many classes to just not be able to die and stack a ridiculous amount of armor, then go into Kill Jaden, which you know they're not going to nerf because it's not a statistical outlier. It's already got too large a text box. And the main issue with Kill Jaden, to be fair, are the stalling cards like Defense Crystal. You could look at Ancient of Yore as well. I would expect one of the neutral armor cards to get hit. I don't know if you make Defense Crystal 6 mana, 7 mana, have it restore health instead. I just don't think mass armor gain should be available for every single class. It should be Druid, Warrior, and to a lesser extent, Mage. Those are typically what I would look for. Also, Druid, Amir Drisel. This card is an absolute statistical outlier, one of the best mulligan win rate cards in Hearthstone history. Like, it is so good if you play this as early as turns like 3 or 4, sometimes on 2 with a trail mix, right? Like, you can coin trail mix Amir. It's absolutely nuts. I'd expect this to get hit to 5, right? Druid's already getting hit by Lo, but this card is an absolute standout, and it's not like Druid's going to be struggling. They have Imbue, they have this quest, which I expect could get buffed and be or just actually nerfs alone could probably put that into elevation. Token Druid, a spell damage Druid. This card is just such an outlier, and it would be crazy, I feel like, not to hit this card, but you never know. I did mention for high legend players, including myself, sadly I'm in that category, Cycle Rogue being absolutely disgusting. Twisted Web Weaver is what is a big part of it, where you just cycle through your entire deck as early as like turns 4 and 5. You partner that up with the Phoenix card, right? You just spam these over and over and backstab them and replay them for 0 and 0, Shadow Step, and all that stuff. My favorite card, by the way. Yeah, that it basically lets you play those giants, kill your opponent with asteroids as early as turns 4 and 5. It's such a degenerate play pattern. Definitely more of a high elo thing, but I'd expect like Web Weaver or maybe even Phoenix, right? The card already got banned from Wild. It is proven to be a bit problematic that one of these cards get hit, but to me, why is Auctioneer? Well, why was it 1 mana? Why is it 2 mana? It is certainly a card I would keep on my radar. Demon Hunter, as we mentioned, doing like incredibly well, arguably the best class in the game. Ballhog to me isn't the issue, although right now, Ravenous Fellhunter, which drives me crazy, I feel like is the major issue, where it summons 2 of these, but it's too slow right now, where people are just playing Ballhog and Aggro, and you're getting for 4 mana, 6 damage guaranteed of like Lifesteal, and it's just super frustrating to try and deal with it. And then yeah, if the meta slows down at all, Ravenous Fellhunter bringing it back, but the problem is, you nerf Ballhog, well, you just play, I don't know, the Blob of Tar or whatever, you know, the other Death Rattle thing. It's just, it's going to be a different story. So to me, Ballhog is a likely candidate, considering it slots into like all these really good Demon Hunter decks where maybe you make it 5 mana and make it a 4/4 or something. Not only is it worse on curve, but it can't be brought back Ravenous. So yeah, I'd expect something to happen to Ballhog or Ravenous, one of the two. Sure, Demon Hunter will get hit, and it's probably gonna be one of those two cards. And outside of Murloc Paladin, the Drunk Paladin, the Imbue Paladin, they all stand out as real outliers still. Like, they're gonna be a frustration point if they don't get hit. And the cards you're looking at are like Dragon Scale Armaments, 1 mana, draw 2 specific cards, summon a dragon. Like, it's just ridiculous that this should be, to me, a 2 mana card. Now, should this not be 2 mana? Like, I guess 2 mana draw spell kind of sucks, but 2 mana draw 2 and tutor specific cards is amazing. You can look at that. The other card that really, this card on 1 is absolutely insane, Aegis of Light, where, you know, you could bump this up to 2 mana, get a 2-cost minion instead. You could also, you know, make Divine Brew 2 mana and give the attack buff back so it can go back into Drug Paladin. Flickering Lightbot, I keep saying it should cost 1 less for each each turn you've cast a holy spell this game. I don't expect all those to get hit. You can even look at Lanessa, making her more expensive. There are so many hits for Paladin. It's incredible, that also carry over to Wild, whereas in Wild, they desperately need some help there too, where Holy Wrath Paladin is consistently OTKing on like turns 5. I just hit Wild Legend with it, where I got consistent turn 4 lethals. It was just dumb because of like the new card, right, that lets you see what's coming. It's even more consistent. Paladin needs like an overhaul, so I don't even know which cards you nerf. There's like 5 or 6 you could consider, so I just listed them all, and you pick your own conclusions on what they could be. And another high elo card I mentioned earlier that is again super painful, problematic, that I can't believe is still 7 mana. Murmur to me should be like 8 mana, 9 mana, or your first battle cry minion costs 1 this turn like they did to the dragon card. I just don't like this play pattern. Play a card, immediately blow out your opponent and win the game. It's not fun for like anybody facing that. It's just hopeless. It's a terrible play pattern, and I would love for all these type of cards to just either not exist or be nerfed to the point where they're complete meme status. But yeah, at High Legend, it's one of the better performing decks, and that is just something to me that should absolutely change. Okay, now let's get to what I think should get buffed, because we do need buffs. These quests are so far behind. So like, Reanimate the Terror. There's a lot of things you could do with this card, and I'm okay with all of them. You could make the rune requirements less. You could make this spend 15 corpses, 14 corpses. You could give Tyrax Taunt or Rush, or just immediately summon Terror's Grave instead of Tyrax, so you get the location going maybe, although that could be particularly worse. I'm not entirely sure, but either way, there's multiple things. I've even heard people saying make all the quests cost 0 so it doesn't cost you a mana, but then you're helping out the aggressive ones a bit more. I feel like something very substantial needs to happen for a lot of these quests. So Reanimate the Terror, I'd like to see the corpse requirement go down, and maybe this gain Taunt, like double dip on buffing it, because it is pretty far behind. Demon Hunter, there's not a ton you can do other than making this requirement significantly less, so like 12 or 10, and maybe you make the reward have Rush or Taunt, or make it cheaper, right? One of the problems I find with a lot of these quest rewards now, even though you get an 8/8 for 5 mana, it doesn't do anything when you play it. It's too slow. Stats just rarely matters. So yeah, maybe give it some type of defensive option on top of, you know, the whole damage thing. I don't think you can buff the Druid one. This is one I'd probably leave alone, as it's not that far off right now compared to a lot of the other quests, and Druid's likely getting hit a lot of other ways. But I feel like, I don't know, 2 turns seems way too easy to complete. You can make the weapon a bit cheaper, maybe make the weapon 2 mana, but if I was to adjust this quest, it'd have to be very minor, because again, it's not that far off, and a lot of decks are likely to get hit. Hunter could absolutely see significant change. You could keep the requirement the same. I don't know if it's that hard to complete. I even had like a viewer suggest that they just get rid of the beast part, but that completely, like, you gotta flavor a beast. Like, that would be really lame to me. What I would like to see happen is you get to discover a random 8, 6, and 4 attack beast. You just get to pick, so you're not stuck with Octosar, you're not stuck with these terrible minions, or you make their cost 1. You make them cost 1 instead of 2, so they're a lot cheaper, right? Either one of those I think I'd be okay with, but overall, this one has a lot of work to go from. Maybe you take the 7 attack beast out of the equation, it would help it out a good amount, but that could be particularly spooky fluky, but again, this is absolutely a quest I would buff. Mage, again, not far off. I think it's a really cool card. I don't know what else you would really, like, you can make it discover 6 or 7, but then it's really, really fast, and it could be really oppressive. This is one I would probably leave alone. If I was to change it, I would make the Origin Stone 2 mana, make it a little bit cheaper when you complete your quest, or give it the whole like Cariel treatment or whatever it was, the hero card for Paladin, make it like you don't lose durability. It can only be Vipered if you want to counterplay it, right? Like it's a continuing thing throughout the game, because it does feel really bad to lose the reward, right? Like 8 charges can go pretty quick. So those, if they were to be buffed, I'd do that. But honestly, I'd probably leave this one, see how it goes, and then buff it further if it doesn't catch up the way I feel like it can. Obviously, we're not buffing Warlock, Paladin. Reach Equilibrium, I feel like 4 Holy Spells, 4 Shadow Spells is the main way to go. The minion itself is fine, and there's ways to like copy it to an extent. You can Umbra it, just make it a little bit faster to complete. 5 does feel like a lot, particular with Holy Spells. Shadow Spells is a lot more doable with a drink. There's just not that much available for Holy, so make the requirement easier. I don't know what else you could really do other than add lifesteal to this, but then damn, that would be pretty nutty, most likely. I also didn't mention a possible nerf to Will to Shadow. It's a new card that's seeing play, and it's not particularly high win rate above High Legend. I would love to see it change, but I don't see it happening. So I thought I'd throw that out there, that yeah, if you think Will to Shadow should get nerfed, I understand, but I don't see it happening. For Rogue, absolutely Lie in Wait needs a fundamental change. I've heard like give the ninjas rush, like that would just let them do something, although I feel like that'd be nuts. Summon would draw an infinite rush, but to me it's just shuffle cards into your deck 4 times, maybe 3 times. I don't know, maybe that's too fast, or make Master Dusk a bit cheaper, or summon more ninjas, or although I've heard the argument that the ninjas just clog your board and aren't very helpful. It's a weird one. It's so far off that I expect a very large change, right? Just shuffle like 4 times ain't gonna do the trick. It's not gonna be enough, so I could see that happening. Knockback, I feel like it start at 2 damage, like 1 damage is not a ton. Merchant of Legend, I'd love it to be discover a legendary minion from another class. Like why restrict it to just neutrals and your class? At least make it a burgle card. It still wouldn't be great, but I would love to see it, yeah, be a card for like you could use in Burgle Rogue. And the other card, I mean, you could buff this to 1 mana, it probably wouldn't still see play, so maybe make it 2 mana. It wouldn't do anything, but you could do that. And honestly, this guy takes forever to get cheap. I could go see it go into like 6 or 5 mana. Like, I don't like, you know, pushing more for mana cheat cards, but man, even when you've completed your quest, right? You've completed your quest, this is still 2 mana. That's really slow. So yeah, maybe make it so when you complete your quest, it's 0 mana. That'd be thematic, unless of course they nerf the requirement on that, or buff the requirement. But yeah, maybe 6 or 5 mana. You could buff a lot of rogue cards, and I couldn't really argue against it. Spirit of the Mountain, I don't think it's super actually it's pretty far off. The numbers are really bad. Play 6 minions of unique types, maybe 5 minions of unique types, something like that. I don't know what else you could really do. Make this Ashelon a little bit cheaper perhaps, but other than that, yeah, you're lowering the requirements. And again, absolutely another card I would have 0 issue with them buffing. With Warlock, I'm gonna say the same deal. Make this play 5 temporary cards. I think the reward is perfectly fine. It's just getting to it, and 6 temporary cards. Yeah, make it 5. I don't know what else you could really do. You can make it 4. That seems way too easy. But 5, yeah, maybe we're talking. And I don't know what else we're really buffing in this package. I mean, this is one of the worst cards ever. You could make this 4 mana, I guess. It would still see 0 play, but it would be less insulting. So maybe buff Whispering Stone as well. Warrior, I don't think you ever buff Enter the Lost City. I would love for it to be survive 9 turns, just because I feel like it's cooler that you hit turn 10 and you're complete. It feels weird at 11. I don't like that, but I wouldn't buff it. Just thematically, I would love to see it go to 9. But overall, the warrior stuff isn't really that bad. This is the only one I would argue maybe make it 4 mana, but at the end of the day, do you really care if this card's that good? Like, it's just it's more of a flavor card. So honestly, I probably wouldn't buff much of warrior. Like, warrior's not that bad. And neutrals, I feel like Platasaur is dumb, but you probably leave it as is it's not egregious in any way. But if we're trying to buff quests, why don't we make questing assistant better? Make it a 1 mana 2/1. Make it a bit cheaper, because 2 damage on 2 just doesn't kill a lot, right? Maybe you make it 3 damage to a minion. That's something to consider, but that also nerfs the Demon Hunter quest that wants to deal in increments of 2. I just like seeing this being a 1-mana 2/1. Make it cheaper, a little bit more flexible, don't up the damage output. Yeah, just make it a cheaper, better tempo card for your removal options. And neutral-wise, they typically don't buff a lot unless it's really helping out like a quest deck, and I don't really see anything else that you could really buff that helps those synergies out. You could maybe make Torga 3 mana for Kindred decks, but it's a turtle. It's a 4 mana 2/7. You ain't messing with that. So I'm proposing a lot of buffs. I normally don't, but we are in unprecedented times where, yeah, we absolutely need a ton of nerfs, significant nerfs, but I do think at the same time, so many of these cards are undercooked, like Reanimate the Terror. They need something, and leaving them as is, they're just wasted cards. And I don't see any level of nerfs when Whizbang is outperforming these cards are going to get them there, right? Because Whizbang ain't getting nerfed. We got to buff these up a little bit. So I am throwing that out there. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, what you would buff, what you would nerf, what you agree with, what you disagree with. And again, we'll keep you guys up to date the second the news is announced of what the changes or probably will be teased to be, and then we'll go into what they will be. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.